Extreme!
It doesn't look like we'll be needing that Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote live-action movie anymore. With Premium Rush, you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a cyclist in New York. He lives for speed, he wants to avoid a desk job as long as possible, so he chooses to make a living delivering packages on his bike, and he's definitely the best at it. So one day he gets an envelope that he has to deliver. Simple enough, right? But he ends up being chased by a hilariously incompetent cop played by Michael Shannon who wants that envelope. He ends up having to compete with his rival at his job. He also has to dodge a bike cop that he pissed off at some point during the day. And of course he also has to make up with his girlfriend. Whatever plot point they could think of, they literally just threw in the story and tried their best to make it fit. The director, David Coep, knew there wasn't a lot of story there, so he threw in a lot of cycling action, cool editing, and just tried to make it seem as fun as possible. But the problem with the movie is, despite that, there still isn't a lot of story here. I was gleefully enjoying this movie for the first half hour, but then I realized they kind of ran out of things they could do surrounding the bike scene. So a lot of things that came after the first half hour felt a bit forced. Everyone ended up having to have a backstory. His rival had to be stubborn and waste everyone's time. He has to go back to square one at some point. The movie has to over-explain itself. The bike sequences have to go on longer than they need to. And at some point, one of the characters basically just says, "Screw it, I'm going home. This is too much." And as funny as that joke was, the guy was right. But with those complaints, there's still enough here to compliment. The leads are fine. Michael Shannon's character is probably the least threatening villain I've ever seen, but it is hilarious watching him screw up. And this guy could pretty much be holding a gun to your head and your response would be, you just find a way to shoot yourself in the foot. But I liked his Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote relationship with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You also get an interesting look at the biking subculture in New York, though obviously it's pretty exaggerated. And to be honest, the movie was a lot more comedic than I was expecting it to be. Sometimes intentionally, other times not so much. But at the end of the day, you have a 90-minute movie with barely 60 minutes of story worth showing. That's a lot better than you would expect it to be. I think it would make for a funnish rental, so I will give this a 2.5 out of 5. And if you like this review and you want to see more, please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it.
Extreme!